Never Going Home is the based and black-pilled RPG about being zest. What I would say if the game actually lived up to the artwork. With that ominous foreshadowing, Never Going Home is a game about World War I that's currently being caught up evil maelstrom of evil wiggly bits, the dead, the living, and more expansions than I'd care to think about. But at its core, what is Never Going Home? The game uses the +1 system. Never heard of it before? Don't worry, it's only ever really been used here, and I have a heavy doubt that it'll be used anywhere else. The system is a D6 dice pool system. The gimmick comes from the fact that the +1, where you can spend your attributes to modify specific rolls, adding dice, gaining access to untrained skills, and adding a +1 to any die roll or re-rolling your dice. Now, the catch is that every roll is going to need to use these in one way or another. Treating them as almost as an action point system would be more accurate to what the game actually is. For example, if I don't have the athletic skill, but I have 3 body, I can buy the athletic skill and then 2 dice to use it with. Simple. But what about the characters? Well, the issue here is that the characters are barely competent meat bags. You have 10 points to distribute among your 3 attributes, each of these requiring a minimum of 1, but averaging out to about 3, so your average is going to be a 4-3 spread. These attributes double as your health and can individually be targeted by certain attacks, so having a 1 is going to get you almost immediately killed. They also double as the target number to be hit, so if something has a 4 body, then you need 4 successes to actually hit them. But then we get to skills. You only have 3 trained skills, from athletics to transport, but at character creation, you're only going to have 3 skill points to spend among those few trained skills, resulting in an average of a 1-1-1 spread or a 2-1-0 spread. Because these are the only free dice you'll ever receive, it also has things like ranged weapons and actual fucking magic to worry about. On average, you're going to be rolling maybe 3 to 4 dice per check, but most likely you're going to be rolling about 2. So your characters are incredibly fragile, always are doing a bit of mental math to reason out when and where to spend your points, which are going to be on average out to make everyone feel remarkably similar, simply because that's the best way to actually play the game. And everything uses these attributes and skills in one way or another, and can do the same thing with buying dice and pips for every interaction. But did I mention magic earlier, right? Yes, there is magic, but it simply uses a simple skill check to resolve most of the checks with different attributes. Most of these paths also have a particular gimmick tied to them, such as bloodletting or discarding card. Wait a second, did I forget the card gimmick? Oh goodness. Well, every player is going to have a hand of standard playing cards representing their memories. These can be spent on a variety of things, such as being forcefully spent on journeys, whispers, adding to the +1, or simply spending them but not for initiative. Also healing and advancement, and a lot of other things that don't really play that important. These play into the corruption system as well, which has the character go mad from things that happen to them, or they play a black jester card. When you do gain corruption, you're going to draw a card. If it's a red, then you don't gain any corruption. If you draw a black card, well, it's Corrupto Clock and you're on the menu. This is used exclusively to fuck with you and the unit. And if you have 5 corruption, well, hopefully you weren't too invested in that character. This may seem like a lot, but in truth, it isn't. It's a lot of pomp and circumstance for it amounts to a D6 dice pool that takes about 20 seconds longer for a player to make a check because they're going to want to optimize it. It also runs into the issue where it says, hey, do you want to invest into uncovering the mysteries with investigation? Maybe take a few points in mechanics or uncover eldritch wonders with whispers. But surprise, turns out the power of the gun solves most issues, with firearms being pretty much ever present and combat being a rocket tag of getting the first meaty hit in to initiate a vicious death spiral. The game says resources are valuable. The world says resources are valuable. Why wouldn't I make a character that has the best resources and doesn't have to expend them actively? It's an incredibly simple system with an interesting concept, but has no part of Never Going Home mechanically that helps support that concept. You could run this setting in a plethora of other systems to achieve similar results, but what makes this game worth buying? Well, nothing much, unless you're really invested in the artwork or simply want another indie darling to put on your Zaste shelf. My name is Notepad, and this was Never Going Home. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Indie Darling today, but next up we have something far, far more horrifying.